Welcome, everybody, to Make It Make Sense with Monique Pressley. Thank you so much for joining us again. I am excited, as always, for you to be with us, where we try to do exactly what the title of the show says, make it make sense. Take the things that are complicated, that are convoluted, as the young folks say, where we need clarity, where we need some clarity. You know, it might be confusing, and we want to do what our promise is to you. We want to give you facts. We want to give you data. We want to give you experts, not people who just up and decided. Today, I declare myself an expert, but no, people with knowledge, education, years of experience in the relevant fields. Yesterday, we had a great interview with Roy Wood Jr. Go to my YouTube channel, to Monique Pressley TV, to see that. I just posted a little reel about it so you can get a flavor for it if you missed it. But we're already at today. We're at today, and you guys know it's Wellness Wednesday, and we take some part of what it is to be living well, right? So that could be financial wellness, that could be mental, emotional wellness, spiritual wellness, physical wellness. And we have got our return expert, Dr. Rovenia. She is a nutritionist and just an all-out phenomenal woman in the health field who's going to help us once again today. Y'all, have you been feeling more tired than usual? Why are we so tired? Let's see if Dr. Rowe can help us with that. Let me click her in. There we go. She popped right up.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Outstanding.
Can you see
Outstanding.
my t-shirt? This is how I'm doing. I am good.
I am good. Yes.
I am good soil. Do you see that?
Soil. I am good soil. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Things grow well in me, through me. You can invest in me. I just came back from Bishop Jake's. It was a one-day conference in front of the leadership conference that was specifically for entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And it was called Good Soil. And yeah, one of the t-shirts, because y'all know I love some merch. I love merch. so they got me. They saw me coming. I left with a bag. I left with multiple t-shirts, bought other people some shirts. But anyway, the notion being, we're always taught to plant in good soil.
Yes.
But I am good soil. And before we get started, can you all please welcome Polonus PJ Floyd to Make It Make Sense today? That is our brother George Floyd's brother. And I see him coming in and saying hello. I see Jalen Bledsoe coming and saying hello. Hey, everybody. Hello, the people doing all the things. And each one of you need to be on here as a guest, child, sooner rather than later. For today, I'm talking to Dr. Rowe. Dr. Rowe, before we talk about what I want to talk about, tell me, what have you been seeing now that they're calling us post-pandemic? I don't know if I believe it or not, but whatever. Now that they're calling us post-pandemic, what have you been seeing in terms of the way that we are learning to leave the house, get back in life, and how that's affecting our bodies?
So what I observe, I've been involved in a transition, moving and, getting another lease on life after a huge loss. But what I am learning, what I'm observing is that, people are just going back to doing things that they used to do the way they used to do them. So the people that I'm exposed to are leaving the house there's a handful of people, my friends and family included, who won't go anywhere without a mask. Even if they feel comfortable in an environment, like maybe it's outside or something, but they may not wear it, but they still have them. I can see people returning to the old way of things that they used to do. Now, some of us who, the OCDers among us, if you have a little touch of OCD, maybe you're not hugging, maybe not shaking hands and you're still elbow bumping or, but other than that, I just see people are so happy and so glad to get back to a semblance of life that they used to have, that they are grabbing it with gusto.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, the numbers, because I care about the data and the facts on here,
Of course.
and the unfortunate part. Well, it's good as a whole, but the unfortunate part is that the way that the numbers are looking and trending, it looks like we should be able to go out because those of us who are double, triple vaccinated or who've gotten the new all-in-one vaccine, y'all go to vaccine.gov. Our friends at U.S. Department of Health and Human Services can help you. Gotta thank our sponsors.
Yeah, I like that.
But we're seeing, right, that overall we are healthier, that overall people getting COVID, that overall people surely are not being hospitalized and dying from it. But the reason why HHS sought me out and others with this campaign that is ongoing is because in the Black and Brown communities, the numbers are not as great. We are still getting sicker. We are still being hospitalized more, and our numbers are still lower for vaccinations. And so we're still getting the raw impact of disease. So what I'm hoping people will understand is, as you just said, whether they can have some OCD kick in or whatever needs to happen, that they will understand that they might not we never reached herd immunity. Herd immunity ain't a thing. Like, I had the people from the government, the medical department come on here and say, ain't gonna be none. Ain't no herd immunity. So you should not think that because everybody else
is doing it,
that you're safe, or that because everybody else is unmasked, that you're safe. You really have to check in on where you are on your own health and know your environment. Know whether how safe it is for you. And I say take no chances.
Yeah. So we had a policy in my house, and that was if I haven't been with you, if you haven't been in my presence, like if you're coming for the first time and I don't know where you've been exposed to, everybody has to wear a mask, but and do the things that you need to do to protect yourself. All of those measures. So yeah,
everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Okay. So moving on, I love, and it's gotten just some of the most positive feedback when we were talking when you were on before about aging and how it's not enough to just keep being alive. You want to get older and feel good in your
body. Yeah, you want to thrive.
Older and have mobility. Yeah. You want to not just survive, like my number ticking up. You want to be thriving.
The goal is to thrive. Yes.
The goal is to thrive.
Now, we're not supposed to be white knuckling it because we get to be 50 and 60. Do you understand? That's not the thing. We want you to thrive. As you move into your 50s and your 60s, I still need you to keep it cute in the face and tight in the waist, and to do those things that are necessary to look like that and to feel like that. I mean, let's face it. You have more knowledge in those decades than you ever had before. So what do? You've got all this knowledge. You probably have greater resources. It's time for you to start living. If you haven't been doing it, it's time for you to live. I mean, really live your life boldly, unapologetically, and in a way that is meaningful, of course, but have some fun. But
and what does that look like in terms of nutrition? Because everybody always says you can't out-train a bad diet.
Yeah.
But I do believe that people are still struggling with what a good diet is. And there's a fat a minute and all of that stuff. And the reason why that upsets me, frankly, Dr. Rowe, is because, as you said, as you live longer, you get more knowledge. All of this stuff really is figured out. Whether the pharmaceutical companies, want to tell you it's figured out or not,
Yeah.
because they prosper in our illness, not in our health. But there's enough that is known about what we can do to decrease risk of cancer, decrease risk of heart disease, decrease risk of sugar diabetes, hypertension, all the things. So what does that look like in terms of what we put on our plate?
So what we want to put on our plates, and it depends on where you are, like what age and stage in your life you are, because the things that you do, the foods that you eat, the amounts that you eat, are different in your 40s, 50s, and 60s than they were. And they're different from the things that you ate and drank and put in your body in your 20s and 30s, right? For example, in the 40s, you're looking at perimenopause. So you're entering this stage, and this is a stage where your hormones are getting wonky, and you're starting to have night sweats and hot flashes, and you're starting to do all of those things for the first time in your life. And even brain fog, right? So brain fog. And there, by the way, let me just say this as far as menopause is concerned. And I don't believe it's an untouchable word. I think that's ridiculous. I also don't believe, by the way, for the men watching, that andropause is ridiculous, because you go through something similar. You didn't have menses, but all this other stuff, brain fog, loss of libido, loss of your energy, and even, hot flashes. You get all of this stuff too, to some extent. So all that to say, in your 40s, you start to get the hormones are starting to be depleted, right? And so for us, we call that perimenopause for women. So what do you want to do? Well, first of all, you got to remember that as of age 30, you start losing muscle mass like 3 to 8% each decade after 30. So that means that what you want to put on your plate includes high quality protein, includes lots of vegetables, some fruit. And then as you ease into your 50s, you want to do all of that and more. And here's the more: you got to add strength training. You have got to add strength training to your daily routine. I don't care what you do, whether you use your body weight, whether you pick up free weights, whether you use machines or resistance bands, or the combination, which is probably the best of all worlds.
But let me pick for a minute, Dr. Rowe. I guess I don't understand why you're saying add, because to me, whether it's my teens or those who are listening right now in their 20s or their 30s, wherever you are, strength training is a good idea.
Yes.
For your life, and it'll be easier than if you wait until your 50s and realize that you've been running on a treadmill 45 minutes and you could have been breaking your sweat and doing your cardio via your weight training and holding on to some of your muscle mass while you do it. I mean, wouldn't these lessons be sooner rather than later?
And you could have done that in 15 minutes, by the way, not 30-minute cardio, right? You see what I mean? You can get your muscles on in 15 minutes. So I say add because, unlike you, many people in your audience and my audience are not doing that. They're not doing that. Life has beat them up, or they never really did it before. So they haven't thought about it. They don't know how to get started. And that's my job, to come in and help you to get started. And the point is, you start where you are, wherever you are in the life cycle. It doesn't matter to me. If you haven't walked in 50 years, let's just start where you are right now, okay? If you haven't picked up a weight, if you haven't used a resistance band, if you haven't used your own weight to do crunches, on the floor, or dips, for the backs of your arms, or, any of those weight-bearing exercises where you use your body or you use machines or other implements. So I say all that to say we have to do it. Because here's the thing you don't want, and we talked about this the last time, but it bears saying it bears repeating. You don't want to get into your latter years, your 60s and beyond, and have no mobility, meaning you can't move your body on your own, right? You don't want to get there and have stability, meaning you're a fall risk. And so now we're talking about breaking bones, and we're talking about long-term care in a nursing home. And let me just say this. this is not the healthcare system you want to interact with if you can afford it. So these are things that what we're talking about today helps you to prepare yourself for avoiding it. It puts you in a much better position to have a higher quality life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. What kind of supplements for women and men are we wanting to be increasing that perhaps, if we're honest, we know we're not getting all of the fiber and all of the vitamin D or the vitamin whatever out of our diet? What should that be looking like as we approach 40s and beyond?
So I'm glad you mentioned vitamin D, because Black people typically have lower have deficiency in vitamin D, and I'm talking about vitamin D3. That's the type that's what you want, vitamin D3. Okay, so that said,
I'm still here, people.
yeah. So that's it. Yeah, and you want a multivitamin that contains antioxidants and vitamin D. But you might have to separately take vitamin D3, because this is something that's going to help you with your bone density. And by the time you're age 50 to 55, you're taking a DEXA bone scan so that you can check, your bone density. This is something that's going to help you to avoid those fractures that come as a result of slips, trips, and falls. But I also want to say, on the plate, when you get to be 50, you're in the 50 step plate. Listen, it's important that you start to cut calories. So the amount of food that you ate in your 40s and below, that's not what you need. That's not what your body needs as you get older. The fact is, there's a body of evidence to prove that caloric restriction, that means restricting your overall calories, will actually save your life. It will extend and save your life.
Say it again.
Caloric restriction, eating fewer calories as you get older, particularly in your 50s and beyond. You want to cut calories. You don't want to take in the same number of calories that you did as a 20-year-old. Your body doesn't need that, right? Your body needs fewer calories. But because you do need fewer calories, you want to be super vigilant about having high quality nutrients in your food, which means cut added sugar to the greatest extent possible. You don't always want to say this. But get your nutrients from food in the forms of high quality protein, some whole grains, and definitely an abundance of vegetables and fruit.
And whenever you talk to people who are in like their upper 80s, their 90s, even into 100, and you ask them like what they're eating, it's always that they're eating these 4 or 5 small meals. It's always that they're eating these plates that have veggies and maybe a small piece of fish on the plate. I mean, I've interviewed so many personally, I have them in my family, and it's amazing how, as I said, like there are so many things that are figured out.
Yeah.
That where we've got the special sauce, we've got the formula. If we just would look at the example of our elders, because it took a while for the science to catch up with it, even in terms of the way that we exercise. When we were tilling our own land, we didn't have to focus on the weight, on the strength training, because so much of the work of the day depended upon utilizing body weight or greater in order to just put in a hard day's work.
And now we live lives where we live in a time where you roll out of bed, you go to the garage, you get in your car, you drive. Wherever you work, you're driving somewhere, so you're not walking, right? And then you get on an elevator or an escalator and you go to the space of your choice. But all that to say is everything is so automated. And so to your point, Monique, you don't have to, we don't have I'm going to call it the luxury of being able, we don't have the luxury of not going the extra mile to do the weight training, to lift the weights, to do the exercise. We don't have that because it isn't built into our day. It isn't built for our lives.
That's not.
We live automated lives.
Right. And so I was grabbing some of my kids laugh at me because I promise you I'm supplement queen. But I was grabbing some of them because sometimes people would say, but I'm always so tired. And it's a vicious cycle, right? And the prophecies fulfill themselves. I don't do strength training because I'm too exhausted, but really you're too exhausted because you're not doing strength training. And then you don't do the strength training or get enough sleep at night because of the things that you're eating or not eating that aren't fueling you properly. But then some of it is mood, right?
Right.
Because this B12, when I tell you, it lives with me in my life. And even Nutrafol, you were talking about women of a certain age, whatever age certain is, I'm at it. I do not work for Nutrafol, y'all. I'm just showing you this because I know it works, because I'll give free game out all the time. But when you look at what's in it, and this helps women with hair thinning, hair loss. They have it for different periods of time. But the thing that is amazing to me about this product being called Magic is it's vitamin D3 at like 300% of what we need. It's biotin, it's zinc, it's vitamin A, it's vitamin C, it's selenium. It's all the things that if you were taking a multi plus the little extra you need for your age, your hair wouldn't be thinning. You wouldn't be dealing with the bones. I mean, they don't figure anything out these days, is I guess what I'm saying. They don't necessarily figure it out, but I want to know, what do you think about probiotics? Because I'm trying a new one because Halle Berry told me to.
So what did you say?
And they should be Halle Berry. She got this new product that she supports. The name of it is Pendulum, and it is a probiotic that you take daily that she said tremendously helped her, like with gut health and with all of these nutritional type things that we're talking about. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, I don't rep this product either, but I should, because I recommend it to anyone who will listen, anyone who can hear me. And the reason is because it works. It has worked for me. It works for my family and all of my clients. So for probiotics, it helps to balance out your good and bad bacteria in the gut. And people don't recognize that, your immune system is located in the gut. So it's essential to your life and the function of your life. I say that to say Align, ALIGN, is the probiotic for me. And it is the one that I recommend to everyone because it works. It is natural. It is naturally made of the good bacteria that's found in your gut. And the molecular model for it is a model for the human form of good bacteria. So I love Align. It works. If you have you have problems with digestion, you have problems with constipation, you have problems with even diarrhea, dare I say. Once you've balanced this good and bad bacteria, so the problem is the bad bacteria overrides the good bacteria, right? You need both. That's why they need. Okay, but you want the good bacteria to override the bad bacteria, because otherwise you start getting these digestive symptoms that I just described. All that to say, the other thing that takes place in your gut is when your bacteria, when your good and bad bacteria are out of balance, you don't metabolize or use carbohydrates in a healthy way, which means they get stored as fat. You see what I mean? So if they're not absorbed and used for energy, which is what they are, carbohydrates are units of energy, then they get stored as fat. So I say all of that to say all of these things can interfere with your sleep patterns. You mentioned sleep earlier. And in your 40s, 50s, and beyond, you definitely want to pay attention to the amount of sleep. The recommendation is no longer on 9. It used to be 7 to 9 hours. It's 7 to 10 hours. 7 to 10 hours. And you can't make it up. But what you can do though is if you can find 15 minutes during the day, you can take a nap. You can take a quick nap, and believe it helps. It really does help, and it can energize you. That 15-minute nap that you just go out, you just go dark. But you got to get the sleep in, because if you don't, insomnia also causes weight gain.
Well, and that's the thing. I love that somebody on here was talking about a healthy microbiome. And I didn't microbiome is that a new planet? I was so not with it, and that would be what I would say. Last, we're almost out of time. Is that I know we've thrown a lot of information at you.
We have.
As Dr. Rose said, just start somewhere. If you're not walking, take a step. If you're not doing any supplements, pick one good multi. If you're, don't know your way around the gym, it doesn't matter. Use your body, get some strength, some bands, and start working out that way. But I am thankful for people who are in your position, Dr. Rowe, because, we perish for lack of knowledge. And so many of our folks would do better. What I always say, know better, do better. If they knew better, they would do better, but we have to get this information out there. Yeah. So very, very last, I know you've got a book coming out or already out, a new product. Tell us about it.
So
get it.
It's called Lose Your Final 15, but it's a revised version of my former book, Lose Your Final 15. This book has a life plan. It contains a life plan. So all your exercises are there, all your meals, all the information you need to manage your life in the way that we've been talking about today. Even meditations are there. And many of these things you can do in 15 minutes. So I highly recommend that everybody within the sound of my voice pick it up. It is new in paperback. And it's a comprehensive life plan, quite frankly, Monique, that you can use for the rest of your life. This is information that you'll be able to use throughout your life, whatever your situation, whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to maintain your weight, whether you just want to eat healthy, or whether you want to take care of your mental health, because I'm talking about meditations, prayerful meditations, walking meditations, all of these ways in which, and I'm talking about 15-minute workouts. So all of these things are in the book.
Yeah. Well, we want it. So please, everybody, look it up. I know that you can find ways to get it if you just follow Dr. Rowe at Everything Rowe. And we thank you so much for being with us. It is always a treat. We always learn, and you help us to be better. So thank you for joining us.
And Monique, I just want to say, get the book at getdrrowe.com. Getdrrowe.com. Just get DRRO.com. The book is there.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll put that in the caption as soon as we post as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you're doing to inform our community. Your contribution is a big one, and it's a much appreciated one.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
There.
You too.
Thank you all so much for joining. I hope that you learned something as usual from today. I really appreciate that we are building and growing this community. And you can click off Dr. Rowe wherever the X is, and I'll talk to them just for a little bit. And I want you to be able to become a part of the community in whatever way you choose to. So please, when we post things, stick messages underneath saying topics that you're interested in, topics that you would like to know more about, things that aren't making sense, that you would like to see them make some sense. And we will keep that in mind and try to add that to our list. We've got some great and exciting shows coming up, covering a broad variety of topics. I want to talk about tech with Jalen, if he's still on here. I want to talk where we are in the search and march for criminal justice with people like Slonis. I want to talk to all of the experts, the continued experts that we have that we've been blessed with in the past, and we'll be adding some new ones as we go. If you would like to support us, the first way that you can do that is to share something that you've learned. Hashtag make it make sense. Tag me. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's Monique Pressley TV. That's where the full shows land. Like yesterday's, like today's, that's where the full shows land. So please subscribe to it. You can support us through giving. If you'd like to be a sponsor or do advertising with us, we would be glad to have you. You can email at sales@moniquepressley.com. Or if you'd like to just support us as a sponsor, a friend of the show, as a donor, you can do that via Cash App at $ Monique Pressley TV. You can do it with PayPal at // Monique Pressley TV. And you can do it by buying badges. And I saw people did that today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate it. I will be back with you tomorrow, noon Eastern, with another exciting show. Probably be talking some law. Things going on. Did y'all hear a former president was found civilly liable for sexual assault? I'll catch y'all up on that stuff tomorrow. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.